Welcome back to the third episode of The Lab. We just came up with a new name, The Lab. It's a good fit. Shout out to Mr. Matt Jaffe for came up with it. We're going to have a great show for you guys today. We got Commish Joey Castleberry coming on. He's going to dive into all things MML. He's got his power rankings broke down. We're going to talk about being a commish. I want to get one thing straight. I was supposed to have Brian on. I bumped him till tomorrow. Probably a bad call by me. Bad cousin. But hey, what are you going to do? The opportunity arose. I should have hit up Brian or told Joey tomorrow. But he had the power rankings. I figured the people wanted to, hear about the power rankings. Could have been wrong. Probably am wrong. They'd probably rather hear from their main commish. But hey, what are you going to do? First things first, let's go over a little recap of we advanced last night around 8:30. 8 games have been played so far, so we're just going to dive into who won, who lost real quick. So we had the Seahawks defeated the Tennessee Titans. The Seahawks 49, Titans 31. Seahawks now sit 8-0. This loss sinks Tennessee down to 2-7. The Jags keep on rolling, 42-7 over the Colts. The Jags are now 8-0. Colts are down 1-8. The Bills, they just keep winning. I mean, it doesn't matter who he's playing. He played the Ravens, beat the Ravens 28-18. Seems like it was a pretty close game. Bills are 8-0. Ravens now sink to 4-5. Carolina put us 62 points on the New York Jets. Now, this game was close. It's 62-56, but Carolina gets another win. They're now 4-5. The Jets sink to 2-6. Game of the week, Raiders-Chargers. I watched a little bit of it. I was in and out a little bit. It was close. It seems like it was a close game. It was 37-27, I believe. Raiders now have firm grip of that AFC West at 8-1, and it drops the Chargers down to 5-4. Now they're not totally out of it yet, but they need to pick it up. Browns beat that Mexico City. Mexico City's now 3-6. Brownies are at 8-1. And the Lions beat the Eagles 45-42. Now, I don't know. That was my game. Now, I don't know if he was trying to dev up somebody because all he wanted to do was throw the crossers to Chris Olave. He wanted Chris Olave to get as many touchdowns as he want. I don't even know if he really cared about winning that game. I don't put up 42 points. I ran a 3-3-5. I couldn't do anything else every time I was in another defense. He just kind of scored every time. I want to touch on real quick before Joe comes on. Looking over the group me today, I've seen a little bit back and forth between the Seahawks and the Panthers here. Those two guys have played a lot of Madden games against each other. They were in year one. They were in the same division. Coop was the Broncos and Jaffe was the Chiefs. So I hit him up on the side and I said, "Yo, guys, let me get a quote about what you think of each other as a football coach, as a Madden football coach." So, coming from the Panthers organization, Coach Andrew Jaffe, this is what he says. Thinks the Seahawks, as a football coach, are as overrated as they come. He is a good coach. He has a solid defense, a decent culture up there, but he has a big mouth and he has no accolades to show for it. Keep in mind, some of you may think this is biased because of our famous rivalry, but my 49-30 career head-to-head record speaks for itself. I mean, he didn't hold back there. That was a direct quote from head football coach at the Carolina Panthers, Andrew Jaffe. Now I reached out to head football coach at the Seattle Seahawks, Coop, and he didn't get lengthy. He didn't get anything like mouthy or anything. All he said was the Panthers, they're a great competitor, a great streamer, terrific guy, but a very average Madden player. And that was it. And sometimes short and sweet. Now, to that, I know the Panthers have made the playoffs at least 2 or 3 times this year, and the Seahawks have not made the playoffs yet. But, I mean, like I said, he's my favorite to, get to the Super Bowl. I don't know. There's 3 years the Seahawks might have been trying to dev somebody up. Well, they were trying to dev Bobby Dickinson. I don't know. I mean, he is in that tough division, but, I mean, we've seen it. Coop can hang with anybody in this league. So we'll have to see what is going on up there. And that rivalry, they wouldn't meet last time they played. I know the Seahawks beat the brakes off them. They won't meet up until the playoffs if the Panthers make it. So we'll see. Coach Castleberry should be joining us here in a little bit. And here he is, Coach Joey Castleberry. How's it going, Joe?
TP, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. How we doing over there?
Oh, dude, we're great. Just moved into the new apartment, Concha Hockey.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go? How was the move? How nice and smooth?
Smooth as it could be, man.
That's good.
Can't complain.
So how's everything else? I see that you got your power rankings all dialed up, right?
Oh, dude, they're ready to blast.
Okay. So before we get right into that, I just want to say what's going on in the San Francisco 49ers organization. Like, what do you guys? Because I know you just drafted the new Q. I'm just trying to figure out what is going on over there. Like, are you worried about winning? Are you trying to make the playoffs? Do you just want to dev your guy up? What do we got?
We're devving him up, no doubt about it. I mean, I just did unbelievable things against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers computer. Look, if other people are going to do it, I'm going to do it. This is the first time I've really disobeyed that rule, but look, I got to get my guy in. In terms of where we're at, last year was our year. The previous year, obviously, lost to Cleveland in the Super Bowl. I mean, it was almost an unplayable game. Bad lag, horrible lag, I should say. I only lost by 8, but with that said, Coach Daddy,
Yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT.
And then obviously last year, perfect regular season. Obviously, we made it to the NFC Championship game, and you got Arizona sitting there. He's got that playoff DNA. I took him down twice in the regular season. It's tough to beat a guy like that 3 times, especially when he's bitching and moaning about my team all year. So, it kind of took the heart out of my guys a little bit, I'll be honest. But credit to him.
Okay. And also, how did you get involved in the MML? Did Brian reach out to you back then?
Obviously, it was touched up on about, what was their original 9 or 8
yes.
or something? Yeah, so you guys played your one season, and then it was Easter, I guess it was 2-3 years ago, right when COVID started. And that's when everybody was just like, all right, yeah, we'll join. And the next thing you know, it blew up. We had 32 youth. My girl's laughing at me over there. Big San Fran fan over there. Her big Roy Seymour jersey's actually, I think it's coming tomorrow. But yeah, no, she's a big fan of the MML.
Good.
But yeah. And then next thing you know, we got 32 users. I mean, in the middle of COVID, none of us were working, so we're getting seasons done in 5 days.
We were flying.
And I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend. She's like, "What's so special about your league?" And there's nothing else out there that does this.
No.
What we do, the content, the 32 users. advancing every day like men. It's rare. It's why the MML is, and like people think I'm kidding. Like it's a privilege to play in this football league.
You're 100%.
People take it for granted. A guy like John Warner, who obviously we'll touch base on his nuke last year, him leaving the league. Like when people leave the group mate, it's the same thing. Like thin ice, man. Like know your role. Appreciate this. Like I got to give a lot of credit to the new kids. Minnesota, New England, Coach Dig and Coach Kern. I mean, look, obviously they're not spectacular players, but I think they got the memo what it takes to be in this league.
Yeah, I think Taddy hung 93 on, was it? I think it was either Minnesota or New England. I don't know which one, but I was like, hey, welcome to the MML. We don't fuck around.
I played Minnesota last year, and it was 42-0 after about 5 minutes. He was trying. His team wasn't very good. He was running out Devin Singletary. He was getting 20 carries against me. He's got like an 81 speed. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And people learn. You learn. He's gotten better. He's played some close games this year. I'll tell you what. Coach Dig over in New England, he's not Bill Belichick, but he's on to something.
Yeah, see,
and I'm gonna touch base on New England a little bit more when the power rankings get kicked off.
And I want to bring up a point. Like people don't realize, I was talking to Forrest the other day, maybe I don't know, a week or so ago, and I was like, he just beat me, and I was like, yo, how'd you get like better? And he's like, dude, honestly, like I just watch people's streams and I see what they're doing and I kind of incorporate that in what I do, and it's gotten me to be a better Madden player. And I was like, so I took that into account. I mean, I haven't won a game this year, which is fine, but I've seen people's streams. I see what they're trying to do, and it's definitely helped out. So if I could give any to the new guy,
I don't watch Madden on Twitch unless if it's an MML game.
Right.
Go to YouTube or any of that shit. Like for example, like BMO used to be a bad Madden player.
Right.
Straight up bad. But then again, Madden back then I was really good. It was a little bit of the put your side where you can just roam around with a middle linebacker or safety and just take away the entire field. I can still do the similar things with Jamar Wooten, but people are a little bit more advanced in the game now. But like somebody like BMO, who I guess you're first in all season. I think he did pretty well, but I still think he might have been like behind the edge, obviously behind Taddy. And then the next thing you know, he goes out, buys a Twitch membership. He's on YouTube every night. I go over to his house. Him and Allie are like cuddling, watching fucking
PA Crossers.
Big Daddy Saints YouTube channel,
right.
Like the run glitch and shit. As Coach Warren of Cincinnati would say, man, getting in the lab.
Yeah.
It's been a popular phrase all season long, but
I mean, listen,
it's true.
That's what we're naming the show. It's the MML, the lab. I got to come up with something better, but it's going to be the lab is going to be incorporated in that.
No, look, like people, and this has been a recent discussion lately. Everybody does is play 3-3-5 and PA crossers. It's stoppable. You can beat the 3-3-5. You just got to try something new. You're not going to be able to run the same 5 plays over and over again.
Right.
So I think people in this, not everybody, there's a good chunk that they don't really get that. Like I watch some streams and I got a guy like Nate Monroe who he chooses a play and I'm like, Nate, what is this route concept you have going on? He's got like 7 people running zigs with his tight end going out on a flat. It's just, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
You got to adapt in this league, man. You got to adapt. And a guy like Nate Monroe, a guy like Brian Hengemill, who were once toned as great players, the next up and coming thing, and they fall off. It kind of feels like a Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. Where,
right.
He was a big coach with Aaron Rodgers 10 years ago, a decade ago, and especially watching this recent playoff game that lost against the Niners, it just feels like the game's passed them a little bit.
Right. He's like he's like 10 years ago. Like he's not. Which is funny you
For
brought.
example, like Brian Hengemill and like Nate Monroe, like the names I just mentioned, like they still think it's 1971, where it's just I'm going to run the shit out of the ball and I'm going to hit hard and I'm going to win
Right.
football games. It just doesn't happen in this league now.
And it's funny you say that because I think I brought it up yesterday. I think Heggs won the the AFC East 2 years ago, and I think the last 2 years.
Let me stop you there. Let's just that AFC East, man. It doesn't get talked about enough how bad it is.
Yeah.
It does. And look, I'll tell you what, this New England kid, Coach Day, he's not good. He's not a good player yet, but he's on the verge of becoming something. He's becoming something.
Like you could think he could compete with the Bills up there.
I don't know about that just yet. We're gonna talk a lot about Buffalo when these power rankings kick off because I got to give Coach Jaffe some credit. He he's loud, he's annoying. Sometimes he's on a hiatus where you won't see him for 6-7 weeks. Force wins, play my computer. And then there's times like, midway through the year, I mean, when he's sitting at 8-0 with a 407 to 147 point difference. I mean, he's got a loaded roster too. So,
yeah,
I mean, the AFC East is his until somebody really steps up and takes it. But
I thought Heggs was going to be that guy, but he just hasn't.
And again, BX has a really good young team. Like I'll dig into his roster a little bit more when we dig into these power rankings. But it's just it's the same Brian Hengemill we've seen for 30 straight seasons now.
Right.
The same Brian Hengemill. It'll be 4th and 1, and he's down by 6 with a minute and 30 to go, and he's dude, the analytics tell me to kick a field goal here, man. Like I swear, he would rather kick a field goal than score a touchdown. And I know your brother, Denver Broncos, shout out for his podcast. He touched base on that a little bit. But that's how BX is. Like when I used to play, I've been playing Madden against BX for 15 years now. And it's been, it'll be 4th and 1 at his own 35. And he's like, dude, I'm going to punt. It's the smart thing to do. That's what Jeff Fisher would have done.
Well, since you keep bringing it up, why don't we just dive right into the we'll just dive right into the power rankings, and after the power rankings, we'll talk a little.
The power rankings, it's a combination of obviously. I want these to be fun. I want the record to matter. So it's kind of like college football, where this past year Cincinnati goes undefeated, and they probably weren't a top 4 team. They probably didn't deserve to play in the playoffs, but I take that into consideration. I take a lot of things into consideration. Some guys will be ranked lower than other players that are 100% better. But that's just how this is going to go.
Right.
Make it a little bit more fun for everybody.
Now, do you want to start? We could maybe start with the bottom.
We're gonna start at the top.
Oh, you want to start at the top? All right.
Yeah. All right, kicking off in the number 1 spot. We got to go with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, look, they're 7-1. Their one loss, I believe, was maybe a sim or a forced loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I do know, I don't know the exact score, but I think it might have been like week 2 or 3 where Coach Taddy really put it on BMO and the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
I mean, look, you got Zach Wilson. I'm looking at his team right now. I mean, 99 X Factor, 99 X Factor, 99 X Factor. He's got Chad Ochocinco, a.k.a. Henry Ruggs, and KJ Hamler, who is just like 99, 98 speed. He's got Chris Godwin, who's tough as nails, playing in the slot. I mean, he's got dogs on the defensive side of the ball. It's hard to find a better team than this. I mean, this is no LA Chargers for Madden 20 for Nick Taddy. What goes underlooked with Taddy's MML resume is this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that he built up last year before we shut down. I mean, it was tremendous. Justin Herbert was playing at arguably the highest level any quarterback's ever played in this league. I mean, look, it's a factory over here. I compare Taddy to Nick Saban for a reason. I mean, he's a machine. So, here's the thing with Taddy is that, there's good. Like, I consider myself a really good player in this league, and I'll have slip-ups. Like, for example, I lost to you last year, 2 years ago. Like, I consider that a slip-up. Like, I lost to Mark before, slip-up. I lost to Nate Monroe, who fucking sucks. Slip up. Taddy doesn't slip up.
Right.
He's had one slip up in the history. Actually, I guess two. He lost to Kieran Smethers in Madden 20, which was probably his biggest upset loss ever. And he lost to Seth in the first year of the playoffs here. But when Taddy plays somebody that he's like better than, like it is going to be a long game. It's going to be a bloodbath.
I will say this about Taddy real quick. He only has one Super Bowl so far. So
well, here's
I know
the thing with Taddy. If it weren't for Madden 20, where obviously, you got to give him his credit. He was the best player then. His team was much better. I mean, he was loaded, right? So that first inaugural draft was huge because, he's got DK Metcalf and Andrew Luck and Dalvin Cook and a great offensive line and all these studs on defense. So we were outmatched from a roster standpoint. But with that said, he, at that point, like 100% logged the most hours on Madden leading up to the league. So he was well prepped. I mean, he was unbeatable I think he had a 60-game win streak before Coach Tucker finally took him down in the regular season.
It was a while. It was a long.
It was a long time. I was writing recaps, and I was like, why do I even write about this guy? He just murders everything.
Right.
Madden 21 last year, he fell off a little bit, right? That first franchise when he was Green Bay, he didn't win a Super Bowl through 5 or 6 years, right? So that was kind of like, whoa, is this guy lost his touch a little bit? Like, kind of felt like Peyton Manning when he went to like his last 2 years in Denver, where we watched him kind of tally off, and people didn't really talk about it, but
right.
I took notice. I noticed these things. Obviously, he got his mojo back with Tampa Bay. And that team was just absolutely firepower on both sides of the ball.
Not much you could do there.
Punishing guys. And then this franchise won Super Bowl. I believe it was against me. I thought I was going to win. I was very confident going into that game. I was on like a 10-game win streak. But, at the same time, even though I lagged and it was a shitty game from that standpoint, you got to give him credit. He deserved to win. We're approaching this territory now, and I love Taddy. Taddy's the man, but he's been put on this pedestal, kind of like a Trevor Lawrence, where he's untouchable, right? And we've been feeding into this ego for a long time, and it's gotten to him a little bit. And here comes that young slick cat, Brian Miller, who's just adding Super Bowls to his resume. It's a real discussion. Right now. Who I think
it really is.
Yes, because Taddy is unbelievable. He's 100% a top 2-3 player. A lot of people will still have him at 1. Right now, it's very close. It's very close, right? He's got to rally off a couple Super Bowls here. And, to be honest, this is a great year for him.
Right, because the AFC's wide open.
Since he's on a hiatus.
Right.
Tucker's been on a little bit of a hiatus. So, Tornado, he just has built so much real estate in Tornado's head. Jacksonville can't beat Cleveland. That's a dog going against a Chihuahua. It's a Chihuahua going against a Great Dane. He's just outmatched, not from a roster standpoint, not from a talent standpoint. It's all mental. So I love Jacksonville. They got a really good thing going. I just don't see them overcoming that hurdle. I don't think they can hurdle that at all. So.
I agree. I just don't think they can get over that hump. They'll win a couple playoff games, but they won't.
And this will be my best remark on Cleveland is that Coach Taddy's been playing with Zach Wilson now for a while. He now has him doing X Factor. He worked really hard the last 2 years. So now could be his time to go on that little bit of a run. Obviously, that week 2-3 win against Arizona, it was a statement win. That's a big-time win, even though it was a meaningless regular season game. He'll be there come playoff time. He's probably the favorite right now.
Right.
All right. Number 2. I really hate putting him here. He's 8-0. It's the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, look, Cooper talks a lot. Coach Gibbon talks a lot for somebody that hasn't had a playoff win in maybe 10 seasons. Look, we get it. You know, you were trying to dev up Bobby Dickinson, all that rah-rah. You know, he's got a really good team. I'm going to go to his team right now. You know, he's got Dickinson at an X Factor. He's finally running the ball now. He's got Cam Akers. I don't know how Cam Akers is a 95 star.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
10 times over 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, he's got speed. He's got Scotty Miller. He's got this new kid, Braden Weston, who's a sophomore out of Colorado. Really good combine numbers. He can play. He's got 14 touchdowns this year. Obviously, you got O.J. Howard, who year one just put up eye-popping numbers.
Yeah, he had like 160 catches or something.
Yeah. No, he was like 211 or something.
Was it really? I know it was a ridiculous amount of numbers. No,
look, Cooper's having a good year, and I've been playing Madden against Cooper. Cooper was one of my roommates in school, in college, along with BMO, you know, so we played a lot of Madden. I know Cooper's he's a nasty defender. He hits hard. He likes to run that cover 2 drop. Offensively, I don't think there's enough in the tank. I don't think there's enough in the repertoire to really defeat a team like Arizona in the playoffs. Like, he beat them this year. I thought it was a fluky win. You know, Beamel, you know, depending on how the puppy's acting up, depending on what
right.
And, you know, I mean, I got to give Cooper some credit. He's having a great year. Other than that, he's had a couple nail-biting wins. You know, he hasn't been utterly dominant. His defense has been really strong this year, only 190 points allowed. He's got some dogs on the defensive side of the ball. He's got some really good young corners. Obviously, his rookie Council Rock Tate or whatever, Councilman Tate. You know, he's a dog.
Yeah.
Cooper,
no. Let me ask you this real quick about Coop. Do you think he can win that NFC West over B-Mill and maybe the Rams and you?
Right now. BMO has 2 losses, so Cooper's in a really good spot. And he already beat him once. He still has me twice on the schedule. If I had to predict, I would say we'd probably stop that and split. The fact that he's running the ball now 15, 20 times a game with playing that vicious defense, you know, he's going to be a tough out.
Right.
But look, at the end of the day, like, Cooper runs like 5 plays on offense. I mean, that PA crossers can only take you so far.
Right.
And, you know, against a real player. You know, I don't know if there's enough in the tank, but we'll see. I'm excited for him. He's been chirping a lot this year. You know, he's been chirping a lot about how he's streaming now. So, you know, it's good to see. You know, you always want to see guys streaming this league. I'll be streaming more, hopefully with better Wi-Fi.
There you go.
But, you know, we'll see with Coop. I think he's got to get humbled a little bit. I don't know who's on his schedule coming up. I might be able to.
Well, he just beat the Titans 49-31. So I mean, Rob was not, you know, but
Tennessee doesn't play defense.
Right.
Although I'll touch on Tennessee later. There's some sleeper potential there going into next year, but
right.
Yeah, you know, Cooper has 1 playoff appearance in this franchise. You know, it was came in as a 17-point favorite against Atlanta. Walked in right in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium as a road favorite, and you know, he got beat up on both sides of the ball. So, you know, we'll see if he can overcome that adversity, but I don't see it.
All right.
We're gonna head to the 3 spot. We're the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, look, they're dominating the regular season again. Coach Tornetta's, you know, we know, that AFC South is
not good.
It's a middle school division. I mean, Coach Monroe's got some spunk. Coach Smathers and the Indianapolis Colts have probably been the biggest disappointment, just in terms of, you know, Kieran used to be a pretty good player, and now it's a disaster over there. Who am I missing?
The Titans. Rob.
Yeah, we'll talk about Rob later, Coach Brady. Well, Jacksonville is loaded. This is probably the best roster in football. Obviously, he traded Burrow in a nice package to get Lamar. So that really fits Tornetta's style of hike and scramble as much as you can. He's obviously got Nick. He's got Nick Chubb in the backfield still.
He was on the block. I don't think
he's going to trade Chubb at the end of the year, I would assume. Tornetta's got all these different receivers. Like now he's got his own little sophomore TJ Tornetta from Bloomsburg, who's got 1,414. He's got Terrence James, who's got 1,216. So he's got Darnell Mooney, who's a 99 X factor, and he has 18 catches on the year. So he just cycles around these players, devs them up against fucking idiots, and then trades them, gets draft capital. He really took advantage of the coach Yolando, who was previously with Minnesota, and he traded for Andre Cisco. People talk about Jamar Rubin. This guy's fucking 24 years old, 95 speed, 97 X factor. So he's a real difference maker. He's got Brian Burns on the edge, who's a top 3 rusher in the game. This team's tremendous. Do you know TJ Tornetta at all?
I know him a little bit, yeah.
Also went to Bloomsburg, 4 years younger.
Right.
This kid was our slave. We were seniors. He was a freshman. He was our slave for a good year.
Right.
If I needed a back rub, snap my fingers, I'd get a back rub. If I needed my charger upstairs, he was getting it. This kid's got a ton of spunk. I don't know why. He played football at Bloom for 2 years. Really talented kid. He used to be a shrimp. He used to be like 5'1" and the biggest pussy ever. And then overnight,
he just grew, right?
Like 6'3". Great athlete. I would,
right.
I don't know if I'd call him a football player or a basketball player. He's a great athlete. You can get in his head very easily. Like him and Coach Jaffe over in Buffalo have a nice little rivalry. And he, obviously he dominates that because he's the better player. But Coach Jaffe really knows how to get in his head. Every year, man.
Coach Jaffe seems like he could get into a lot of people's heads.
100%, yeah. 100%.
He's just one of them guys. He knows what buttons to push, and
So every year, man, I do these rankings, and Jacksonville's always sitting at 9-0. They're blowing teams out. Tornetta's has some nice wins over the course of the last couple of years. Obviously, he beat Coach Taddy a year or two ago, probably his biggest win ever. He just
that was a great game.
Again, I've been playing Tornetta and Madden for a long time. He's annoying to play with all that scrambling. He'll make some bad throws. You can bait him into some bad throws. Obviously, he's got Lamar, so he's dangerous. I don't see him beating Cleveland in the playoffs. There's a couple other teams that will make some noise that I think might be able to challenge Jacksonville, but I think we're looking at an AFC championship out of him. He'll probably be the home team since he doesn't play anybody. I would probably put him as a 14-point dog against the Browns.
Right.
I'm slamming Cleveland there all day, all night. Good team, great team. Not a great team, but what are you gonna do? No.
Right. Because I think the AS.
Go ahead.
What's that? No. I was just gonna say I think the AFC really without the Bengals you have Taddy who's going to be in that AFC Championship game, and then you have pretty much the Steelers whatever he's up to, and then the Jags. And there's three teams really where you have in the NFC. The NFC's loaded. You got we'll Brian, the Cards. You got
Look, I'll say this about Tornetta, and this is coming from somebody who has one Super Bowl. That's it, but it means a lot. If Tyler Tornetta can win a Super Bowl, his image would change drastically. But until that happens, until he keeps falling short, he's just going to be that same guinea pig that we laugh and point at. So I'll leave that up to that. And coming into the 4th spot, I'm going to get a lot of head scratching here. The Buffalo Bills are 8-0, have been flat out dominant through 8 weeks. Coach Jaffe is outscoring his opponents 407 to 147. So, this has been a great football team. Obviously, the AFC East is mighty weak. There's not a real challenger in there, although he squandered the division to New York last year. Look, here's the thing with Coach Jaffe. One day you're getting a good player, and the next day he's that moody grandpa who's too tired move his thumbs around for 40 minutes and play a football game. You don't know. He runs a lot of the same plays, but I like them though. Like he's got Kyler Murray, he's got AJ Brown, he's got Calvin Ridley, he's got George Kittle, he's got Josh Jacobs. He's got all the ingredients in the world to be a good playoff team. But he just lacks the X's and O's a little bit. You know, there's not many adjustments.
Right.
Why does this play keep beating me, but he runs the same play on defense? You know, that type of thing. Good player. I just don't see Buffalo really scaring anybody. Other than that, man, we're going to have some salary cap concerns in Buffalo. You know, he's got a lot of guys to pay still. Money runs short. So it's going to be an interesting offseason.
It's probably going to be the interesting all season for a lot of teams here.
So, like for me, for example, like that's why I kind of set myself up perfect with Aaron Rodgers was at the end of his career. I brought in the rookies, so now I'm paying everybody, all my defensive studs, offensive studs, but I got a rookie quarterback who's not making a dime. So I set myself up well with that. Look, Coach Jaffe, 8-0. I would like to see him finish the year playing every game on a high note. I think Coach Jaffe's a better player than he gives himself credit for. I really do. Like, I watch some of his games, and I come away really impressed. Like, he runs the ball effectively. You know, he can throw the ball. He runs a couple different concepts. Defensively, he's got some work to do, but he's got some dogs there, man. He's got Buda Baker. He's got Chase Young. He's got Max Crosby. You know, he's got Marlon Humphrey. So there's talent on that side of the ball. I just don't know if he's a good enough user to take advantage of it. All right, so with that said, we're going to jump to the 5 spot. Obviously, it's too low for the reigning champion, but Brian Miller, Arizona Cardinals. They're 6-2. That's the only reason why they're a little low. Look, this is probably the best offense in football. Josh Allen, you know, obviously I've been playing against him for a couple of years now. He's just sensational. You know, BMO runs about 6-7 plays. He loves that PAC play, which actually, like, I've played against him so many times already that, like, he's running. I'm like, all right, that's a dope play. I got to start using that. So, a little bit of a trendsetter with some of the offensive approaches and concepts he uses. The 3-3-5, another one that I think he might have got from Coach Tucker, but now everybody's using it, including, like, Taddy and all that.
Yeah, I think the whole league's using it.
He's got a loaded offense. He's got Zeke and Aaron Jones, which is just greed. He doesn't even run the ball. He's got user playmaker on both of them as secondary options. He's got Terry McLaurin. He's got Anthony Schwartz. Anthony Schwartz is probably on the best contract in football. He's like 24, 98 speed, locked up for the next like 7 years, making like $6-7 million a year. He's got this rookie Taylor Jenkins, who looks great on film. He's 94 speed, 94 excel. This defense is good. It's getting old. Khalil Mack obviously is a problem, but I think he's 34, 35 now. And, you know, he's a monster.
He's up there in age, yes.
Times so far in fucking couple years. He's got Justin Simmons, who, to my count, has the most interceptions of any player through 4 seasons of the NML. He's got Javon Holland, nice young player. He's got Harold Landry, good pass rusher. But this defense is getting older. Look, Arizona's going to be there come playoff time. They're going to be ready for the favorite, no doubt about it. You know, obviously, like, my defense is really good. And, like, last year, for example, like, I was really strong on that side of the ball, like, where I felt really good. Like, people weren't scoring. I was probably giving up, like, 14 points a game. Since he was giving up, like, 7 points a game through, you know, a long stretch. And he dropped, like, 55 on me and 35 on Cincy. So the offense is really firepower's there. Obviously, Beamel's a long-time player. I think he is a little bit more of a glorified Pop Warner football player. He talks a lot about his high school career, but, you know, good player. He was a good player. I always thought of him as a little bit more of a basketball player. He used to be better. Growing up, you know, Beamel's been my best friend forever. Been playing sports together forever. I used to think he was a great player because he was a pass-first point guard. He made people around him better, but then he just got with the ego where he was a scorer. And his games went down the drain ever since, in my opinion. You know, he'll drop 30 points, but it's on 26 shots. You know, that type of deal. he'll go 9 for 27.
Right.
And then, post on Twitter, like, yeah, cooked again tonight. So,
Well, he did hit in that
Springford.
Pac-10
He hit
championship
Springford,
game
yeah.
against, I forget who you guys played. It was Springford. He did rattle off, what was it, 4 threes in a matter of 3 minutes?
Points. And then, they put the
Right.
Well, the kid that was covering, I think tore his ACL the game before, so he had a pretty easy matchup to start. Fun fact: we were 12 years old, ARA rec game, Audubon obviously, and my team played his. We held him to 1 point. I locked him up. The only time we've ever played one-on-one basketball, I beat him. He's too strong, too big, too physical. He was a boy. But look, Arizona 6-2, great football team. BMO rattles off another Super Bowl or two. It's not even a question for me. I think he's the all-time MML GOAT. He's right on Taddy's heels. Like, even right now,
Right.
I think he's right there with him. We'll see, man. I would love to see. We haven't seen it in a while. I would love to see those two match up in the Super Bowl again, man. We're so used to it, but it's been a while. So good for him.
Yeah, well, back then, Taddy used to have his number every time in the Super Bowl.
He's so competitive, and that's like
Right.
the shit with when he was accusing me of cheating last year. Is I don't think he actually thought I cheated. He's just so competitive that he's the type of guy that hates losing more than he likes winning. So that's the type of person he is. He's been like that forever.
Right. Right.
So he really wanted to get over that
Right.
hump, and once he got that first Super Bowl, I think in his head, he finally, he leaped that hurdle, and he finally knew he could beat Taddy, and he's been taking off ever since. One thing I would like to see those two in the same conference at some point, because, and obviously this looks bad on my part. I've been in this conference a couple times. It always seems like he has a little bit of an easier road than others. Although I do think the NFC is more broad. I think there's better all-around talent, but the AFC's got a little bit more firepower in terms of top-tier teams. But Arizona's right there, man. Great team. He did just lock up Josh Allen, so expect this team to – the roster will go down a little bit, but this team, locked and loaded, top 3 team in football. Obviously ranked 5th. They're much higher. I just got to use the records a little bit. All right, coming into the 6th spot, and I hate putting this team there, but it's Coach Ardman and the Detroit Lions. And my tone says it all that coming into, and I wrote about this in one of my recaps power rankings, but Ardman came into the franchise as probably the most underrated player, and he's dominated so much in the regular season.
Right.
Now it's like people want him to take that next step. I don't know if he's that type of guy. I don't know if he's that type of player. I mean, look, this team's great. He's got Jaleel Fowler, who was one of the best prospects to ever touch foot in this league, and he's got 56 touchdowns with him right now. He's on pace for whatever that is. What is that? 112, 102.
Something like that. Yeah, just dropped 6 against me.
There's not much, especially with Coach Yolando out now as the Vikings. There's no real threat to him.
Right. I think the Bears could be a threat to him, though.
And we're gonna talk about Chicago when we get there. I'm really proud of Coach Massey, but he's not there yet. I mean, look, he's got this kid Chris Olave, who's got 111 catches for 2,400 yards and 33 catches. It's fucking week 9. So Ardman, every year he has one of these new receivers just go absolutely nuts, and he's a receiver factory over there, but it comes with who he's playing. I've played Ardman a few times now in this league. Good player, really strong player, I should say. I would put him as a low-end tier 1 guy with a little bit more left to prove. Obviously, he's really fallen short in the playoffs. Yeah. Well, look, it's hard to win in the playoffs.
That's where it comes for me, at least. I mean, he's got a...
Sometimes he's overmatched a little bit, man. He's got a good defense.
It's not like the regular season cakewalk.
His time's now, man. His time is now. He's not really playing Jaleel yet. I think it's next year, maybe this year. We'll see. I mean, I hope he's hungry. Look, it's been a while. I mean, obviously, man, the city of Detroit needs this. It's been forever since they've really made some noise in the playoffs. So these last couple of years have been disappointing, but I'm rooting for him. All right, in the 7th spot, we got
Right.
the Las Vegas Raiders, Seth Lewis. It's hard to really talk about, it's hard to put a, I don't know about the Raiders, man. Like, one day they're dominant, the next day, like, yeah, so, I mean, a lot of it comes from, I don't
He's
really
barely
think
squeaking
Detroit
by.
has much competition in this division. Obviously, the Chiefs have been brilliant this year, but, Seth can get away with throwing the ball 60 times a game, just chucking it deep every time and winning. But he's good at it. I mean, look, he's got Trey Lance as a 99 X factor.
Right.
He's got Jalen Waddle. He's got Hollywood Brown. I mean, he's got everything you could want in your toolbox to be an elite team. Seth is tremendous at developing his players. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Obviously retracing his steps with the Mexico City Diablos. I mean, some of the talent this kid has pulled through and developed, it's just absurd. Obviously, he was the first one that really got caught cheating in Madden 20, where he was changing his players' positions and doing training. And the next thing you know, his 20-year-old defensive end is fucking Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, I mean, it was
I totally forgot about that.
It was like a 72 hit, and then like I blinked, and it was week 2, and he was a 99 X factor. So Seth's a little shade ball,
right?
He's always got something going on. Somebody's always like lynched onto his back, looking at his transactions and all that. Good player. I really enjoy having Seth in the league because I don't really think he played much Madden before. But, like, he's super into it, man. He plays all of his games, super active.
Right.
Obviously, Seth just got a new job, so his time on Madden might diminish a little bit. But, I'm not worried about them at all. Look, this team's 8-1. They've scored 342 points in 9 games. 8 games, I'm sorry. 9 games, I'm sorry. We'll see. I mean, obviously, look, he took down Cleveland round 1 in the playoffs. He can do it again. I don't know if he can take down Taddy again, but I don't see a reason why maybe he can't walk into Jacksonville and take him down. So we'll see. All right, in the 8th spot, we got the former great Juwan Mitchell. The Rams. Fun fact, I have never played in the MML and not been in Juwan's division. So, obviously we're in, year 4 or 5 here? We're in year 4. I've probably played Juwan. Then again, keep in mind,
4.
I don't even know who Juwan is. All I know is that he looks like Kyrie Irving a little bit. I've never met him. I know he's from Harrisburg.
Right.
Probably one of the best additions we've ever had, just in terms of he brings that juice. He's the most hated guy to ever play in this league. Not by me. Like I said, like me and Juwan have been division rivals now fucking forever. I've probably played him 150 times, honestly. So he knows what I like to do. I know what he likes to do. He's a little bit of a menace. Like, I don't have a problem with the kid, man. I think he's a cool kid down there. Like, we talk sometimes. He catches a ton of heat for the way he plays. He's kind of like the Kevin Durant of the NBA, like when he went to Golden State and everybody puts disses on and makes fun of him. But look, if people are talking about you like that, obviously you can play. He was really dominant last year where, he relocated a couple times. He was the Condors. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the fucking other one. They were red. Thunderbirds. Like fucking Thunderbirds, man. He's notorious for having Saquon Barkley, making his shoulder pads go over his head. Runs halfback dive. Like Mark said, man, he nailed it in the coffin with HB dive, HB dive, HB dive, play action touchdown. HB dive, HB dive, HB dive, play action touchdown. That's tallied off a little bit now, man. Now that people got some defensive adjustments, all that, the run game is not as effective now. Right? Like, and one thing I'll never get with Juwan is, like, he'll run an HB dive for -3 yards, and then he'll run hurry up. I'm like, dude, like, why? Just relaxing. Find something that can dissect the defense a little bit.
Right.
It's like He'll run it. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing again. It's either that dive or you're going to run
Right.
that play,
And
play action where the running back comes out to the left. The receiver in the slot runs that deep cross, and the far receiver on the left runs a deep post. I mean, it's every time. And it's tough to stop. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I go out there and shut the kid out every time. Obviously, he runs that
right.
cover 4 drop show too. He's been doing it forever. It's been mighty effective. Probably one of the greatest defensive minds to ever come in this league. It's been really effective, man. He's got Devin White roaming the field. One thing I'll say is I don't understand all of his trades though. It's like you got all these.
He's also now on the block.
So, I don't know. I'd like to see him make a little noise in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Obviously, year 1, I think he walked in as the 1 seed. Did not finish the job. It's been disappointing for him since. I never thought I'd see a guy like all that shit. And I'm like, Johan, you run the same 5 plays every fucking time. You have for 30 years now. What's going to make you any different? But with that said, man, I like Johan. I think he's a cool kid. Catches more heat than I think he should. I do not have a problem with him. Rams are 5-2. They're strong.
Right.
241 points for, 174
Right.
against. It isn't tremendous, but it's like I like this team. He's got Russell Wilson. You know, he's got some receivers. He's got Terrell Leslie, who is just making absolute bread. He's got some dogs on defense. But, again, I think there's salary cap concerns coming, so it's going to be interesting in Los Angeles. In the 9 spot, feels really good to put this guy here, man, because I've been dogging him for a couple of years. I've been getting on him. We got the Kansas City Chiefs at 6-2. My girlfriend's over there. I don't even know how long I've been on right now. It's been 45 minutes. All right, we gotta go to Giant at some point to get some groceries. I'm gonna try and shorten these up, but
hey,
look, Kansas City,
Mr.
Man,
Fumbles
Coach
himself.
Ramsey. I was in his division last year. He's a solid player. He's a solid
52
player.
minutes.
Patrick,
Yes.
I'm not even gonna dive into his roster right in a second. But dude, he was the Giants last year, and like he would give me fits a lot. And I'm like, dude, this guy's a nice player. And then 4 years into our franchise, I'm like, no playoff appearances. Like he's on auto. Kid jerks off the 2K. Like, look, he's got Mahomes. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got DeAndre Brown. I mean, he's got Marcus Marion, who's a nice little X factor receiver on the low. He's got Justin Jefferson. So, I mean, this offense is fucking tremendous. I mean, he's going to make the playoffs this year. I really hope so. And I hope he brings his A game, man, because I think he might be able to pull off an upset. We'll see. Ramsey, if you're listening, man, continue playing your games. It's good to see. All right, in the 10th spot.
He's got a good team.
We're 5-3, but we got the 49ers. I almost put myself 11, but, you know, I'm not going to gloat myself. Obviously, we got the rookie quarterback, Nick McIntosh, 77 normal. So I don't have Super Bowl aspirations this year. I do think I might be able to make some noise. I mean, the cheating scandals were outrageous. You know, anybody that knows me knows that I love, like, accessorizing and customizing shit, giving my guys arm sleeves and shit. Like, Jamar Williams, obviously 99. If you look at his numbers, I mean, they're fucking absurd. Right? Like, you know, and if you look at the picture of him when he was a rookie compared to now, it looks like a totally different player. He looked like fucking a bootleg Troy Polamalu, Mexican-ass bull, and now he looks like a Jew from Harlem. But, you know, I mean, look, we got a lot of talent here, man. We're loaded on the defensive side of the ball. It's funny, man, because, like, I have one and only Zal on my team, and, like, some of these new kids in the league probably walk in and they're like, dude, who the fuck is that? And what is that name?
Right.
So a little backstory. One and only Za is Montez Sweat. In our initial Madden 20 league, Keith Fisher, he used to manage the Houston Texans. Good player. Not spectacular, but good. Named him. We call him
no one knows.
For the silliest reason ever. That is 2K jump shot was Lonzo Ball release 1. So he made that name one and only Za, and it just stuck. Like Seth had him last year with the Diablos. Yeah, so that's been his name ever since, man. I mean, he's a fucking robot. He's like 6'4", he has like a 93 speed. We have a lot of talent on this defense. Offensively, you know, we got Joey Nolan, who's a 99 X factor. Although I'm not running the ball this year, we got DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall. So you know, we put up points. we'll see. I would like to think I'll be a playoff team this year. And from there, man, because, that's when I'm going to start staying a little bit more balanced, and I'll start running the ball more. Maybe I can upset somebody. But we'll see. And I just, obviously, people getting on my back all the time, man. It's just upsetting because of everything I've done for the 10, the power rankings, the schedule, the advances, the recaps. It hurt me a little bit.
Got a lot of interceptions,
the idea of leaving the league, but this league wouldn't have a heartbeat without me. Not to toot my own boat, but that's just how it is. I love this league too much. Half the reason why I do all that shit is because, one, I like writing. It's like a secret hobby of mine, but I also like making you guys laugh and giving you guys shit to read and fucking
right.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. It's a good time. We're gonna move on to the 11. We got Pittsburgh. It's Coach Tucker. They're 5-3,
and
he hasn't played in like 6 weeks.
You're very good at it too, because I read some of them the power rankings, and I'm like, this motherfucker is spot on.
Tanking too, but it's done. All right, Pittsburgh's loaded. He's got Billy Stewart, X Factor, DK Metcalf, Chuba Hubbard, Will Fuller, fucking Joel Strickland, who the computer drafted him as a superstar. He's obviously an X Factor now.
Right.
Loaded team. Coach Tucker's an animal, man. Like, sometimes he'll play his games like 19 Budweisers deep and get the job done. He was in the Army for a while, man. Kid's tough as nails. He's a tough out. Really strong on the gridiron. He's another one who kind of really started that 3-3-5 like last year, and it fucking drove me nuts. I never used it until this year, but it's effective, man. But Tucker's a hell of a player. I hope to see him back here soon. He's been on a little bit of a hiatus. Especially, man, since he's not playing, man, Coach Tucker, all it takes is a couple bounces. He takes down Jacksonville and Cleveland. He's in the Super Bowl. He has one career bowl already with the Dolphins when he had Lamar. So, obviously, I'd love to see him back. In the 12 spot, man, Chicago Bears, the Windy City, Jake Mascio, front runner for Coach of the Year right now, took over a Chicago team formerly owned by Black Daddy Trap. It was just going down the drain. Let's call it what it is. But look, this team's 5-3, should be 6-2, man. Mascio, who I still call Buddha because that was his nickname when he was like 8 years old. He was averaging like 37 points a game in amateur basketball. He had like a mustache and a six-pack when we were like fucking 7. I'm not kidding, man. This guy was a problem. He had our number on the hardwood, but when it came to the baseball diamond, I always got him back. Look, Chicago should be 6-2. had a force win on the line, and he decided to play the computer and lost. And he obviously did a lot of great things as the Atlanta defensive coordinator under Coach Forrest for that. And then right behind him in the 13th spot, we got the Atlanta Falcons. Coach Forrest, man, nothing makes me happier than watch Forrest play Madden. Anti-video game. Forrest is the type of guy that wakes up and does bills and fucking goes for a jog. And watches paint dry. So to see him become a kid again is great. He's so into his streams and everything, man. I think it's great. He joined the league late Madden 20 as the Jets, and it was hilarious just watching him play. He would run the ball 37 times a game, sprinkle in a few bootlegs, but man, he's super into it. He's gotten NFC South's fun, man, between Forrest, Screech, and Daffy. It's a great division, man. Got Andrew Riley and Jordan. It's the best back in football. He's got some dogs on the defensive side of the ball. He's got Philip Lawton. He's got a couple other guys. So there's pieces here. There's growth. I've played runs cover 3, drop sky or whatever. Tough to really get chunk plays on him. Obviously, he had a good run. He was under Coach Caddy for a while. He started out as his special teams coach, made his way up to a tight end coach, and then eventually took over DC coordinator position duties. So, man, what an addition for him. Another great basketball player growing up, multi-sport athlete. When we were 12 years old, he actually hit 327 for the Methacton Little League All-Stars, had a couple knocks. First time I ever encountered with Forrest, we were like 9 years old.
Yeah.
So Forrest was always a year younger, but played up. And I was like fucking 5'2", like 275 pounds, and hit a fucking monster home run against him. He like came up and shook my hand. Little storyline there. Forrest, great guy, man. He actually started this franchise not in because he had recently gotten married. And then he was just like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not playing football? And here we are. Falcons 4-3. 20 plus 25 point differential through 9 weeks. This is a good football team. I would really like to see Atlanta back in the playoff picture. I would love to see them as a playoff team because, man, they're gritty. They're tough. Tough out, so we'll see. Well, yeah, it doesn't count. All right. To the 14 spot, we got Dale Judge, New York Giants. They're 4-4. Oh, Dale. I mean, look, another guy where, like, coming into the MML, I don't really think Dale played Madden. You know, he did, like, which is so much heat. And the problem with him is that he can't take a joke. You know, he doesn't, I don't think he gets that. Actually, I didn't even, a lot of people aren't kidding. Like, when they call him a faggot, they target with the way he reacts. But look, man, this is a good Madden player. Obviously, it's not a great year for him, but I played him like 3 years ago, man, and he busted my ass. There's talent there, obviously.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, that rivalry it's number one in the league right now, man. It's real entertainment. That's MTV stuff. Steven Lopez, you know,
right.
He's had some off-field concerns with the marijuana and the strip clubs. Obviously, he got kicked off his team at University of Texas his sophomore year. For that fight with the assistant coach. I mean, look, he's got 22 touchdowns, 11 picks. He takes care of the lamb. He's got this new running back, Barry Sanders Jr., who's a superstar. So, you know,
I think he just beat the Cowboys.
Andrew Gore is in his second year, who I think is one of the more. Look, he was in the playoffs last year, and he was right in Arizona's mid for 4 quarters, and then came away, ended up kind of blowing them out by like 24. That was a good football game. So, Screech, man, if you're listening, man, you're a good guy. I know you do well deep down, man. People pick on you. You just got to learn to dodge it a little bit and avoid it. And the person that fires him up most, right behind him, and this is going to fire them both up. Number 17, Dead Man Jaffe. The Carolina Panthers. Factory. 4-5, actually getting outscored by 35 points this season, which is a concern. We know about Big Roy Seymour, man. He's got that big arm. He likes to throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. He likes to toss it off to Zach Landry. This Panthers defense, man, my God, they hit hard. I mean, I forget who it was. I think it might have been a receiver on New Orleans who tested positive for CTE right after the game because Denario Davis hit him with like 9 straight pit sticks. I mean, it was absurd. You know, man, Jaffe, another one of my best friends, man. I mean, he was never a real big Madden player, and then the MML came around, and he's a gamer, man. He's a good video game player. Like, you give him the controller, get him on any game, give him a day, and he's competitive.
Right.
Carolina runs like 8 to 10 plays on offense. You know, they're not that glitchy. Who's a third-year linebacker, good player.
Big upset. He
has Al Renger, his middle linebacker, rookie from the University of Alabama. I'm sorry, he was Deputy Defender of the Year. Yeah, he's leading his team with 61 tackles, 5 picks. Good player. He's
that's it.
Who's a nice safety. He's got Cameron Curl, who's a newly X Factor. He's got this corner, Lamar Fitzpatrick, DJ Reed. You know, so there's talent there. He does a nice job developing.
They want to get this shit done.
Nothing would make me happier if Carolina made it to an NFC Championship game, made it to the Super Bowl. You know, I don't know if it's in the realm. I don't know if it's a possibility, but man, it would be good to see. A lot of juice with this team, man. Jaffe likes to talk. You know, you blow him out, he's going to start cursing you out after. You know, he'll talk that shit with Atlanta, Seattle, New Orleans. So he's not afraid to express his voice, his opinion. And then the 18 spot, man, we got the Portland Snowball. Xavier Williams, fresh off his 28th birthday,
Right.
man. Real mellow
Right.
dude. Like, we'll cough out in advance every couple hours.
Right.
Like,
Right.
once every year is usually when he'll start bitching about something, whether it's how offensive linemen don't progress at all, they don't get X factors, or no injuries on, or, some shit. Xavier's a good guy,
Right.
man. He's not great on the sticks, but he's competitive. Like, coming into this year, Portland was one of my underdog teams. I thought they were going to break out a little bit, and here they are. I mean, they're 4-5. 4-4. I'm sorry, they've actually outscored their opponents by 5 points this year, man. So, I mean, look, I'm going to go to this roster right now. I mean, there's no notable names. He's got this second-year quarterback, Cole Hart, out of the University of Washington, 14 picks, which isn't bad. He's completing 68% of his passes. So there's something there. He's got Lenny Foe at running back, not the real Lenny Foe. Don't know who that is. He's got McCaffrey, too, he just doesn't use. So I would like to try and trade him.
Right.
He's not a big thrower of the football. He doesn't put up gaudy numbers. It's just a quiet football team, man, where, he'll rattle off a couple real close wins. Another good friend of mine, Xavier, smokes a lot of marijuana. So,
right.
If you're playing him and, he'll take a flag or something for delay of game, he's taking a bong hit. There's a 95% chance. Recently got married as well. Good for him. His wife, Emma, was actually a cheerleader for the New York Giants football team for 7 years, I think. She did gymnastics at the University of UCLA. So, obviously, an athletic family there. I talked about it a little bit yesterday briefly, but, Xavier was a big-time running back in middle school, man. Every morning they would show, a little footage. That's my apartment doing something. There used to be, our morning video clip every morning in middle school. One of the clips was Xavier dragging some little white kid fucking 30 yards with the football.
Yes.
He was have you ever seen the movie The Little Giants? Do you know when Spike's running for a 60-yard touchdown, the kid's holding on to the back? It was literally that, and it was great. And then he got to high school. He was a good running back. Freshman year of football, I kind of took his spot. I was the lead, the primary ball carrier for a little bit. So Xavier, good guy, man. He's got some jokes. 19.
Right.
John Warner, Baltimore Ravens. Not much to say about this guy. Another good friend of mine. Another friend that just enjoys marijuana a lot. John's best known for his nuke last year. It was one of the more disgusting things ever. Even my parents, who don't even follow the league, they were like, "I'm sorry, that was fucked up." We didn't talk to John for a good 2 months after, So, John's personality, you don't really know John well, man. He's an all-time troll. He'll argue just to argue. We'll talk about who's a better quarterback, and he'll immediately go the other way just so there's an argument. He can get fired up. Honestly, he kind of reminds me of, he's basically Jake Paul if Jake Paul was 0-5 instead of 5-0. It's really weird with John. All-time troll. He'll leave the chat here and there, just looking for attention.
Let's not get so fired up
Super
because it ain't that
competitive,
deep at the end of the day,
For a long
That's,
time in that So I know he's got some gas in there, man. He's a good Madden player, but he kind of lost his touch a little bit. I don't know. Look, if there's a year, I know, but if there's a year for him to get into the dance, it's now, man. He's 4-5. There's no Cincy. Pittsburgh's on a hiatus. So if John doesn't make the playoffs this year, I think his best advice would be to try and move to a different division. Although there's no open spots. Maybe a Denver, if Mark doesn't come back, would be a good fit. Who knows, man? Rooting for Baltimore, but at the same time, ever since that nuke, it's he's been cursed a little bit. So it's good. It's good though. He's earned it. All right, into the 20 spot. We got the newfound New England Patriots, 3-5, actually outscoring their opponents by 12 points. Chris Daig, new coach, man. I got to give you a lot of credit. You bring energy in the chat, you play your games, and you're improving. At the end of the day, we don't really care if you're good or not, as long as you're playing your games at the bottom of the line. You're easy to deal with. I watched you're active. I watched your game against Carolina, which was a heartbreaker. But, man, you're improving. It's good to see. Obviously, this roster is not great. He's got rookie Logan Lane, who he took second overall, I think, out of the University of Oregon. You know, a lot of scouts weren't high on him just because they didn't know how that gimmicky offense would translate to the NFL. But he's done a nice job. I mean, he's tossed 24 touchdowns, 27 picks. Not bad for a rook. He's got some weapons. He's got Dalvin, who's in his 8th year now, so he's getting older, but he's averaging 6 yards a carry. He's got Sam
Kid's a stud.
Forsythe, who's in his 3rd year, who is one of like the most underrated players in the game. I mean, he's an 86 with morale and tempo superstar.
Right.
Man. He's a fucking 98 speed. So this guy is a problem if he's used appropriately, right? So I just said in his podcast, we're looking for stability here, and we've gotten it. You know, I don't want to jump the fence just yet. I
Right.
don't want to jump the gun, but we might be looking at a young up-on. He's got some swagger. You know, New England needs this. After ever since the loss of Belichick and Brady, it just hasn't been the same.
Big talker.
Levi's a strong player. He'll never 14-3. He is what he is. He's got a good teammate. He's got Trevor Lawrence. He's got Damian Harris. He's got DJ Chark, who I completely forgot about, was an absolute monster in Cincinnati. He's got Rondell Moore, who's turned into a young stud. He's got a really good young defense led by Joey Crawford. He's got Denzel Ward. He's got the rookie Eric Manuel, which, probably the best rookie we've ever seen. 86 overall star safety, rookie out of Texas A&M. Got Miles Collins, who's a superstar at the end. So there's pieces here, man. He's got and Alonzo Thomas, cornerback out of Wisconsin. Obviously, big physical guy, 6'3", 180.
Yeah.
It's a good football team, good roster. I just don't know if Levi can really take that jump. I would like to see him
doing well,
expand a little bit offensively. It's like a lot of slants, a lot of bland plays. Another guy, man, who joined late I think he joined very late in Madden 20. He's been a tremendous addition. Plays his games, puts a ton of energy in, man. He's always super active on draft night. Only thing, obviously, he catches some heat for playing his games late. I think he's in a different time zone than us, man. Big shit. I think he's in the Midwest. Yeah, another kid that went to our high school, grew up. Actually, funny story. We played on the same team last year in Little League, 12 years old, coached by my dad. Levi hit 600. Nobody thought of him anything of him. Nobody thought him of anything, and my dad said, "Found something." Ended up hitting 4th for us, man. Yeah, no, he had a big time year for us. He was a big contributor. Obviously, we won the championship, undefeated, dominated. And that's it on Levi, man. Great kid, big sports fanatic, man. So, if you want to talk sports, he's your guy. I know you're in a gambling chat with him. Like a little nerdy wizard. Kind of reminds me of a Brad Stevens. Loves analytics. He's got 9 guys in his department. And here we are, man. The 22nd spot. We got the Mexico City Golden Eagles, 3-6, getting outscored by 80 points this year, man. Coach Monroe, who won the MML award last year, man. I love Nate. Super active. I don't think he's ever missed a game. I mean, this guy lives for this league.
Yeah.
He's calling for triple advances every night.
That's great.
Look, this team's fell apart a little bit, man. It's tough to see because Nate was a blossoming star. He actually won the first Super Bowl last year on Madden 21. Had Lamar traded on. He's got Joe Burrow, he's a 99 X Factor. He's got 16 touchdowns and 31 McKay. He had Mahomes too. You're right. I mean, he's running out David Montgomery and Marlon Mack, who would. It's not it. It's 80 speed, 90 speed. They're averaging 4 yards a carry, and he runs the ball so much. I don't know what's going on here, man. He's got these receivers, Ayuk, Lamar Griffin. He does a ton of jet sweeps. He's super gimmicky. It just doesn't work, man. I kind of feel like I'm watching Chip Kelly, where it's happening anytime soon. Nate, if you're watching, man, I know you are because you love this league. Just figure it out, man, because we all want you. We all want you to be there.
Right.
100%. And then 23rd, we got the New York Jets. They're 2-6. We've talked about B-Eggs, man. He's a 1970s coach. He's Jeff Fisher. The game's passed over him. I mean, dude, he's got a great roster. I mean, he's got Justin Fields, who would be spectacular on a good team. He's got 16 touchdowns this year. He's only thrown
Right.
210 passes. Like, I think like a good team like Arizona's eclipsed that and gets that number in 2-3 weeks. Yeah. You know, he's got Tony Pollard, who's fucking lightning pound heavy offense. He's got Claypool at receiver. He's got
He got stuck in that hard division.
He's got defensively, he's got Michael Parsons, Patrick Surtain, who's your X factor. You got
It's this year.
linebacker George Hamilton is a superstar.
Right.
He was absolutely dynamite in the SEC last year as an LSU Tiger. You know, this team plays
Right.
defense. They play hard. There's just not enough. You know, they're not very innovative. It's very bland. It's very run, pass, run, pass, 3 and out. You know you're going to get. Would like to see this team ramp it up a little bit and change.
Yeah, it hasn't been the same for him since.
Love B-Hegs, man. Kid loves football.
Right.
Biggest Eagles fan I've ever met. So, obviously, the city of New York has a good one in him. Like, loves the game. I just haven't seen the results. Broncos coming in at 24. This is where we really hit a wall. They're 2-5. I don't know if Mark's been playing. Obviously, after he's put out a great podcast, and then I think it was like Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's it.
Ran it up and ended up, you know.
You're active.
He's got Dorian Peralta. He's got like 99 throw power. Like, I've been trying to trade for him for years. You know, obviously Mark's had his concerns.
I mean, he took over a bad.
Like, tried fighting Keith in Madden 20. Super hothead. Like, really loves talking about his like 40 and over football league that he plays in. Like any of us care, but you know, super passionate guy, man. Big sports fanatic. Like, I've known you and Mark for a while through BMO, man. I've always loved Mark. Like, obviously, we fight back and forth, but it's all love. Like, yeah. So I mean, you know, I hope he comes back in the league. He DM'd me, said he's thinking about it. So we'll see. You know, the league's better when he's there, man, because he brings some energy. He brings a lot of arguments. Like, it's fun. It makes it fun for everybody.
Right.
I'll be ready in 5 minutes for him. 100%, yeah. 100%. All right, 25th, we got the 2-6 Tampa Bay Bucks, coached by Marcellus, man. It's a shame because in Madden 20, Marcellus, like, every year was like 14-2, 13-2, 15-1. He was a stud, and now not a great football team, man. He's loaded. He's got Herbert. He's got fucking 3 running backs that are superstar up. He's got Jamar Chase. He's got Tony. He's got Ingram. You know, it's like a loaded roster. Not as good of a defense as it was before, but like he's got like a 99 offense, like low kid. It just doesn't add up, man. I don't know what it is, man. Like,
right.
He tries being like a gunslinger, but that's not him. Like his formula in Madden 20, he had a running back. It was like Bubba Colston, and he was running the ball with him a lot, and he was doing good things. He was good defensively. Now it's like a cupcake defense. Obviously, he left the chat too, a little bit of a hiatus. I just got done fucking running it up on his computer. Hope he comes back, man. He said he will. Another guy that kind of gets butthurt a little bit, gets a little emotional.
Yeah.
He thinks like everybody's against him because he's Virginia. He's from Virginia. It's not the case, man. We all like you. He's kind of got like that little bit of a fratty boy type attitude. He's from JMU. He wears the pastel colored shorts and shirts. We'll see. In the 26th spot,
Right.
we got Coach Raven, the Titans. They're 2-7. Robert will be he'll be a ghost for 9 weeks, and then he'll start cursing everybody out about advanced speeds and cheating scandals. I mean, Robert doesn't even know who Jamar Wooten is, and he was like, "Yo, you cheat, shut up." Another great friend of mine, man. Super competitive. Puts up some fire streams when he's got the video cam on. Like his freak outs are all time, man. It's like Ari Gold from Entourage. Like, it's just a fun watch, man.
I think he lives in Indy or something.
Tennessee has a lot of talent. Like every year, Robert doesn't even do the rookie draft, and they just fucking shit him out of another X Factor quarterback, which he trades for 2-3 first rounders. A lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, he's got Myles Garrett, who's on the block.
Just came out and raked.
If Robert locked in for 17 weeks and played tilt-free football, he's probably looking at like a 9-8 season. He might be able to surpass Mexico City. But until that day comes, I can't talk about it. Right? I've got Miami Dolphins coming up next, 2-6. Obviously, Coach Stanley, another great friend of mine, was a roommate of mine at Bloom.
Yes.
his work schedule's tough. He works like 2 jobs. He's not able to play his games a
Yep.
lot. It's really tough for him. He stinks, don't get me wrong. But he's fun. You know, he throws the ball up.
Okay, yeah.
He's fun. His games will be like 102 to like 54.
Right.
There'll be 3,000 yards thrown for. Would like to see Miami take a jump. I just don't really see it happening. 28, we got the Colts. They're 1-8. Huron, who looked like a good player in Madden 20, a little bit of 21. Like, he beat Coach Taddy. Like, he beat Taddy in 21. And he's won, like, 10 games in this franchise.
Yes.
It's just not working. You know, the city of Indianapolis, who has a rich history of football with Manning and Luck and all that, man, it's tough. You know, this team stinks on both sides of the ball. Kieran's another one who just, like, runs these gimmicky-ass fake plays and fucking – just doesn't work, and he does it over and over. Personally, went to Bloomsburg.
He had Mahomes too.
6'5" tight end / punter, got kicked off the team for like boozing at practice. So
it's not going to get it done.
You know, great guy, brings a lot of energy. Then we'll move on to the 29 spot. We got the Vikings 1-7, new kid, Coach Kern, Popcorn, whatever the fuck his gamer tag is. He's got some spunk, you know. He plays his games. He's active in the chat. He tried saying I cheated too. With Woo, you know, some audacity on this kid talking to the fucking co-commish like that. Yeah, I like the kid. I think he was just Josh, and he Chicago Coach Mascio got him in the league. I think they work together, so he's been a good addition. Look, the Vikings aren't good, but
the league's better when Nate Monroe is winning ball games. Better. You know,
I got high hopes from him. Then we got you, third Eagles 0-8. Look, we know you can win games. You run the ball a lot. It just hasn't came to fruition at all. It will come. It will come for you. The NFC East is available. It's up for grabs. And if you play your best football, like you've beaten me before, you've beaten some good teams, you've beaten BMO before.
Right.
So if everything comes together, you get yourself a quarterback like the next Joey Callaway.
2 games.
We might be looking at a division title. Yeah, man. So keep it up. I'm rushing these a little bit. I'm about to go to Giant. And then we got 2 teams. We got the Cowboys at 31. I mean, I would put this team 35th if I could. They're 0-7. Dan Stoy, a good friend of mine, literally hasn't played a Madden game in like 9 years and was like, yo, I want to join your league. And I was like, all right, you can, but like just so
he's young on the defensive side.
It's not what you think it is. And he was like, dude, just let me fucking join. And then he joined and he played Taddy, and it was like 218 to nothing.
Right.
He was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you know, welcome to the MML.
You know what you're going to get. Right.
Stoy brings energy, man. He's not good. He'll get better. You know, he's in the lab a little bit. He's been on YouTube, actually, the last couple of days. So the Cowboys are going to go probably 0-17 this year. But going forward, I think we might see them win a couple games. Obviously, nobody wants to see Dallas win. But at the end of the day, it's okay. Dan is somebody who gets very heated, very angry. It wouldn't shock me if we see some like death threats coming soon, or like him trying to fight somebody. But we'll see. I'm rooting for Dallas to make a little jump. And then 32, obviously, this is one of the best players in the league. We got the Cincinnati Bengals 0-8. Coach Warren, who is on a hiatus this year. Never met him. He's from St. Louis, man. He brings fucking energy to the chat. Like, it'll be like 4 o'clock in the morning. He just posted a video of him and like Nelly fucking breakdancing at the bar. That was like an enormous amount of liquor. It's like customized liquor. Good guy, man. Great Madden player. He's in the lab all the time. Little bootleggy, but man, he's fucking feisty on defense. Probably the best defense in the league.
Right.
He's tough to score on. And if he gets back on track next year with playing his games, he'll obviously be top 15. Yeah. Yep. So that's it, man, for the power rankings, man.
And I think sometimes when you lose a lot and how you lose, you just need a little. You need a little break, you know.
Hopefully they do. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for having me. I gotta head out of here now before my girl kills me. All right. All right. Peace, brother.
Right. Yeah, he's was wrong. He'll be back. Mm, right. Right, right. Yes, he does. Right. Yeah. Yes. Right. 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 Yeah, I don't. Mm, we'll get there. Right. Right. That's what we're that's what we're shooting for right now. That's fine. Right. Yes. Slugging fucking, right. In the lab, yes. He'll be in the top. Yep. Well, Joe, I appreciate you coming on and breaking down 1 through 32. You know, it's all good, brother. So, have a good, yeah, have a good rest of your night. Yep. See. And there you have it. Those are the power rankings. Coach Cass, Commish Cass, whatever the fuck you want to call them, broke down, 1 through 32. It's a little bit longer than expected, but just fucking bear with us, guys. I mean, it was a great podcast. Get those games in and enjoy your beautiful Thursday.